Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, this is going to be a comparison video between a couple of these flashlights. The biggest purpose of this video is to compare this Thrunite T10T with its newer brother, the T20T. All right. I also have the T10S just for reference because we're going to talk a little bit about weight. I have my scale here and we're going to weigh all these lights. But the main purpose of this video is to compare these two directly with each other because they're literally the same price. They're both titanium flashlights having the exact same LED, which happens to be a Cree XP-G2. They both have 3 modes. They're just so similar. This version is just using a different battery source. But because of the different battery source, you do actually get different types of modes. They both have 3 modes, basically a firefly, a low, and a high. However, the run times and the outputs are different. So we're going to talk about that in this video. But I wanted to weigh them, give you dimensions, and talk about them a little bit. You notice this one's really beat up because I'm still using this in the demolition testing between me and Chris Thorne. You will see the last 2 videos of that series coming up soon where we freeze them and then bury them in the ground. So that's why this one's so beat up, because I've been using it for that testing and it's still working beautifully. But yeah, the big question is if you want to get one of these small, awesome EDC lights in full titanium, both of these lights cost $59.95, okay? So to have an identical price, an extremely similar light, what are the advantages and disadvantages of these lights, okay? This one running on a single AA battery, okay? You can use alkaline or lithium. And this one running on a CR123, okay? Which you can do, the standard ones, which are disposable, or you can use rechargeables. So I want to kind of focus on some of the pros and cons and the features directly comparing them head to head. Once again, have the stainless one here on the side just to compare in weight. And actually, we're going to do that first, just to get it out of the way. Because this one doesn't really compare with those. It's cheaper. It's a stainless version. And we're talking titanium with these. So, let's turn our little scale on and actually change the measurement back to ounces. So first, the T10S, which is a stainless version. 2.8 ounces with a battery. That's very heavy for a flashlight. For a knife, that's light, but this isn't a knife. So 2.8 on the T10S. 2.1 on the T10T. Okay, so 0.7 ounces lighter with the titanium. And the T20T is 2.08 ounces. Okay, so this one is going to be a little bit heavier, but it is also smaller in the dimensions. Okay, and as I mentioned in the other video, you can see it's literally a little bit shorter. However, it is a little bit wider, very, very slightly. Okay, so the dimensions, first off, I'll talk about the T10T here. This is 3.68 inches long, okay, and has a diameter of 0.74 inches. For everyone outside the US, that's 93.5 millimeters by 19 millimeters, okay? As compared to the T20T, which is 3.17 inches long, okay? So a little bit shorter, but it is slightly wider, but it's so slight, most people wouldn't even know the difference. It's 0.78 inches, okay? So 0.74, 0.78. Not many people are going to, know the difference between 2/10 of an inch. However, by the way, if you're outside of the States, the T20T is 80.55 millimeters by 20 millimeters, all right? I don't often do, both measurement scales, but I really should more often because obviously there's people watching from all around the world. So whenever I remember, I will certainly do that and give you guys, millimeters, dimensions for knives and flashlights. But anyway, so yeah, there's the difference in size. You see the difference in weight. Maybe not significant between these two. Of course, it is significant between the stainless and the titanium. That's why you may go with the T10T over the T10S. But this is cheaper, so that could be a whole different video. But I really wanted to focus on pros and cons and talk about the modes, all right? Because now a lot of people are torn. I've got a lot of messages about this. When they saw this, they loved it, got one. Now some of those people are wondering if they should get this one. So why would you get this one over that one, or vice versa? All right, guys, so I shut the lights off in here. I just want to show you these demos with the beam shot and comparing the different modes and outputs and stuff with just daylight coming in. I strongly thought about doing a nighttime demo, but these lights are so similar that if I were to shine this out in the woods right now, you couldn't tell the difference between either one of them. Yes, the T20T is brighter, but it's not significantly brighter to have a demonstration like that really matter, honestly. So I thought it was better to do it in this kind of dim, natural lighting against this flat table, so you can kind of see the differences in the output that way. So also understand that both these lights aren't the same. They're the same exact Cree XPG2 LED, but one is a cool white LED, which is a slight difference in color variation. So understand that they're both two different color whites, but you, in some cases, depending on where you're buying your light, you have the option of getting the cool white LED version of that same light. Okay, so basically both lights are offered in both LED color variations. Something I'll maybe talk more about in the future. All right, so focus on the light output, not so much the color of the light. So starting off in the Firefly mode, okay, the T20T has a 0.04 lumen output and you have a 100-hour runtime. Okay, now I'm gonna say that again. 0.04 lumens, very, very low light lumens, for a 100-hour runtime. Now the T10T has 0.2 lumens, which is more, for a 147-hour runtime. Now that sounds crazy because most people just automatically assume that the CR123 lights will be brighter and better than a AA light. In most cases they are. In fact, on high, in this very case, it is. This literally pumps out more light in a high mode because of that battery source. However, in the Firefly mode, it's interesting to see that the AA version of this light, with conjunction to this exact LED, has a longer runtime with a slightly brighter output level. So this definitely takes the win. If you're going to be using this Firefly mode quite often, you may prefer this light over this light. Okay, so big advantage right off the bat to the AA version. Okay, now if we bump these up to the next light level, this is really considered low because it's instead of low, medium, high, it's Firefly low, high. On the right hand side, the T20T has 11 lumen output for 19 hours, whereas the T10T has a 20 lumen output for 39 hours. So once again, the AA, and this is again on alkalines, okay, not lithium AA's, but on a regular alkaline AA battery, we have more lumens for a longer runtime. Okay, very interesting. When we pump them up to high, whoop, don't want to shut it off. There we go, make sure I'm in the right modes here. On high, okay, let me try to get these kind of squared off so they're right next to each other. All right, let's do that. The T20T on the right has a 255 lumen output and you get just under an hour, about 55, 56 minutes. It says 55 on the site, but I tested this twice, and the first time I actually got 57 minutes. The second time I got an hour and 1 minute. I'll just go with 55 minutes because that's the least you'll get out of it, I guess. The T10T on the left is pumping 169 lumens out for 1.5 hours. All right, so you do get more of a runtime. However, it is less lumens, all right? And I think significantly less lumens. When you're talking about a light of this size, the difference between 169 and 255, I mean, that is significant. This is significantly brighter if you're in a closer distance. If you're using this indoors, you can really tell how much brighter this is than this. Outside, in an open area, specifically in my situation where I'm in the woods, very, very similar, okay? These little LED light, these little EDC lights are awesome for, close quarter stuff. When you're outside, yeah, it casts a lot of light out for you, but in the same sense as guns go, a pistol's for close quarters, a rifle's to reach out and touch something. All right, if you want a flashlight that's going to reach out a couple hundred yards, you don't get a small little flashlight like this, you get something bigger. But anyway, it's really interesting to see, though, that on Firefly and low mode, this has more light for more of a runtime. So more light that lasts longer. Really interesting. Why would you get this one over that one? Well, the biggest advantage, and I think the most obvious advantage, is the fact that this is literally brighter. But you have to ask yourself, how important is that to you? What modes do you use your flashlights on? What do you use your flashlights for? If you want the most power out of the tiniest light, then you would definitely want to pick the T20T over that because almost 100 lumens more. Well, all right, let's do the math. 255 minus 169. It's 3186. Let's see, let's try it again. 255 minus 169. All right. 169 and 1 is 170 plus 30, it's 31. 31 and 55 is 86. So 86 lumens brighter. Okay, 86 lumens brighter. When you're talking about these little lights, that's significant. That's a big deal, in my opinion. But this one still has a lot of advantages over this one, simply because of the fact that a lot of people don't want to use CR123s. All right, so the question still remains, which one would you get and why? Well, I'll tell you my opinion and what I like more. I like the T20T more. The reason I like it more is because it's brighter. And being a flashaholic of sorts, liking all these different flashlights, I'm constantly, on the chase for the brightest, the smallest package, right? So that's why I picked this one. However, this one is a much better bargain overall, and I'll tell you the two reasons why, which you could probably have picked up by watching the comparison. But for the exact same price on both flashlights, they're both $59.95, which, by the way, is an awesome, awesome price for a full titanium flashlight. Try to find a full titanium flashlight for 60 bucks or less. In fact, that's a public challenge. If you could find one, I'd love to know about it, because I don't know offhand of one that exists that's that cheap. So durable, good flashlights with an output, in this case, of 255 lumens, all tie for 60 bucks. I'm telling you, if you know your gear, that is a steal. But anyway, back to the lights. This one's the better bargain. And reason being is that this one takes batteries anyone can find anywhere. Any gas station, any grocery store, any big box store, your grandmother's junk drawer, your TV remote. AA batteries are everywhere, okay? Everywhere. So the ease of battery source, the ease of finding it, and the cheaper price, the more affordability and availability is huge for a lot of people. And that's why so many people stick with AA or AAA flashlights for their EDC light. Totally understandable, okay? If you're in the lumen race and you want the biggest and the best and the brightest, this is the one you want. But if you're that average dude, kind of likes flashlights, not really a flashaholic so much, not obsessed with flashlights, but has a good use for one, this is the one you'd pick, because it lasts longer, the run times are better, knocks the run times on this on every level. All three levels, it's going to be brighter, except for the high, of course, but Firefly and low light modes are brighter modes for longer run times. All right, so the run times definitely beat out that light, and the availability and affordability on those batteries can't be beat compared to this. However, if you are a flashaholic and you do want the brightest and the best, and you do pick the T20T, do yourself a favor and get yourself some RCR123s, okay? So you can recharge them when you need to. It's going to be much more cost effective in the long run, all right? But I honestly think that if you got either one of these flashlights, you'd be extremely happy with it. They're really, really awesome flashlights. You can see how beat the crap this one is. I don't know. I like this flashlight so much. This is my current EDC light. I don't know if I'm going to beat this one up in a destruction test. It's brutal. I do this stuff for you guys. No YouTube channel, I would never, subject my stuff to this kind of abuse. But this is purely for, curiosity if these things are going to last, if all this stuff happens to it, which is extremely rare to begin with. But anyway, I'm happy with both lights, but I like this one because it's brighter and slightly smaller. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.